Basil stole diamonds and platinum despite the flying squad. Hello? Have you ever heard about Flying Squad? It is in UK. The Flying Squad is a specialized police unit found in England. This unit is popularly known as S.C.D.7, meaning Serious Crime Directorate 7. This unit deals with the investigation of serious crimes and dangerous incidents using high-level expertise in its implementation. It is possible that you hear or you've heard about a wanted name of somebody called Basil. This unit is responsible for the intense search for the criminal whose name they do not know, but they have named him Basil. The arrest of Basil may reveal the highest level of performance of this Flying Squad unit, since he seems to be anonymous, invisible, and untouchable. Basil is accused of planning and carrying out a robbery that used sophisticated techniques. It is one of the robbery incidents that enabled the theft of high-value items in the history of the UK since then till today. As the leader of a group of 8 people, they did the event in its entirety. But 7 of his 7 colleagues have been recognized and known, except Basil alone, who is not known while he was the leader and the master planner. What is his identity? Where does he live? How did he plan the whole game? Stay with me, we're gonna find out. The only thing known about Basil is that he had a high level of knowledge and access to the place where the event took place. The very place is Hatton Garden in London. In the center of the city of London, there is a street called Hatton Garden. This is one of the richest places in the world because it is one of the greatest cities rich in diamonds and platinum, since Hatton Garden is a good market of jewelry and all kinds of precious minerals. This is the leading street in England for having many sellers and buyers of diamonds, much known as diamond dealers, and other valuable minerals such as gold and platinum. In this street, there is a famous company which owns several vaults for businessmen to store their valuables, especially diamonds and gold. This company is known as Hatton Garden Safe Deposits Limited. One of the vaults that is under the company that is widely used by businessmen is located in building number 89 and 90, which is a building with 7 floors, and the vault itself is at the basement of the building. This vault is popular with many businesses in Hatton Garden due to its high level of security. But Mrs. Basil managed to steal diamonds, platinum, cash money and other precious things from there. Remember, this building has 7 floors. In this building there are about 60 other tenants, and most of them are mining traders. In front of the building there is an entrance. This door uses keys to open and close. Each tenant in this building has one key to enable him to open this door. But once you open this door you meet another glassy door which is only opened using PIN codes. All tenants in the building have it for personal uses. After entering the PIN, you meet an elevator which will take you to your office floor. But this elevator is made in such a way that it does not go all the way down to the basement of the building. In other words, a person can use the elevator to go up to any floor and can also go down from the top to the ground floor, but the elevator cannot go down to the bottom of the building or basement. Remember, the needed vault is in the basement where the elevator does not reach. But next to the elevator there is a door. If you open it, you will meet stairs that take you to the basement. This door is opened with special keys, one of which is held by a guard from a security company called HGSD, and the other key is only held by a cleaner of the area. When the 2 of them open it, you reach the basement area. To your left you meet another door that uses special keys that only the HGSD security guard has. Once you open this door, you will only have 60 seconds to enter the secret numbers in the keypad placed on the wall to deactivate the intruder alert, otherwise, the alarm sounds. This alarm stays silent for 60 seconds only, and if the secret numbers are not correctly entered into the keypad on the wall, then it will make noises and send a special phone message to the London police force. After opening this door, there is a small metal gate that is opened using a PIN code, then you meet a small chamber where there is another metal door next to it, which is opened by just pushing it, then you are in front of the vault door itself. The vault itself is opened by entering numbers in a specific order, making a certain combination, and then rotating its ring. Here you are in the vault being hunted by these greedy old men. In this vault, there are about 966 boxes full of minerals, cash, precious stones making a value of billions of dollars owned by the people of the UK and others who are part of the government. This is where Basil, the leader of the bandits, had planned to steal. He vowed to empty the vault and leave. Despite the fact that the area has a strong defense that includes great technology and people physically present, as well as the high value of the cargo inside the vault, Basil set a strategy to steal it. Do you think he didn't succeed? Be with me, I'm gonna tell you the secret. Basil clearly knew that he could not achieve his goal alone. He needed other well-trained thieves to collaborate with in order to successfully develop a strategy to steal from the target vault. The first person to look for was Brian Reeder. This was a 76-year-old man. Brian Reeder was a retired master thief with a high level of expertise in planning theft strategies. One of the events he ever carried out was the historic robbery at the Lloyds Bank London branch in 1971. He dug a hole down to the inside of the bank and stole money and jewels worth of billions of dollars. Brian Reeder participated once again in another big incident of stealing a load of gold that was being transported to the airport in collaboration with a famous bandit in London called Kenny Noya in 1983, though he was caught and imprisoned for 9 years in jail. When he got out, he decided to stop stealing as he was getting old. Basil, who is estimated to be 50 years old, took a phone and called this old man Brian and insisted him to be part of the plan. He was convincing him by telling him, "Mr. Brian, I know that you are retired, but I am asking you to cooperate with me to do one last event that will put us in history books and get billions to enable us live well to old ages." After about 2 months of persuasion, finally in February 2015, Mr. Brian, whom his colleagues like to call the old man, agreed to participate in preparing a strategy to succeed the plan, and made it clear to him that in order to make the event a successful, they need a team of capable people and experienced in doing big robbery events. He told him that he wanted to convince his longtime friends to make sure whoever is invited is experienced enough. Wow! Brian is at work now. He called his colleagues. The people called formed a team of 8 people as follows. Terry Perkins, aged 67. This was one of the most intelligent long-term thieves in the city of London. Perkins is widely remembered for his participation in the theft of a Security Express van in 1983, where they managed to get away with $9 million. He participated in many robbery incidents, but the incident that sent him to jail was his act of threatening to kidnap and kill the manager of the bank who was threatening him with his money after he began trying to defraud him. This action caused Perkins to be sentenced to 22 years in prison, but he managed to escape from prison and went to live in Spain and returned to England 17 years later, having changed his name and identity. For the time being, he was anonymous. Another person who was called was Jones, another old man of 60 years. This was an experienced thief, and he considered theft as his destiny. Jones was spending all his time learning about online theft techniques, how to break through vault walls, and how to never leave forensic evidence at the scene. Carl Wood is another expert who received a call to join these gangsters. He was 58 years old. He was a thief and had great knowledge of dealing with systems. This man is slender and tall. He positioned himself as an important businessman. He preferred to wear suits with great neatness. He is, in short, smart. He also had several leaders in police forces that he depended on in case he faces difficulties. John Collins, age 75, was included in the team, and they liked to nickname him Kenny. John Collins was a sly. Born in town, he was very familiar with London life and behaviors of people in London City. One of his usual activities was to buy expensive watches, upgrade them, and after a few weeks, he sells them to the same people who sold to him in the beginning at a high cost without their knowledge. Mr. Brian managed to convince 2 people who were employees of the building with the vault targeted for theft by asking them to join them in the plan. These people were Hugh Doyle, aged 48, and William Lincoln, aged 60. These were plumbers in the building. Mr. Brian Reeder's reason for involving these people in this plan was because they are elderly, and then they would be more responsible for carrying the equipment to be used when the due day comes and carry the load when they finish the work. When the 2 agreed, the team was complete with a number of 8 seniors who were ready to carry out the event of stealing the vault from a high-secured area. Mr. Brian Reeder, the old man; Perkins, Jones, the one who believes theft is his destiny; Carl, the smart one with connection to the system; Collins, famous as Kenny, the cunning one, along with the 2 plumbers, Doyle and Lincoln. and Basil the mastermind. 8 old men at work. When it reached March 2015, they started planning on how to get in and empty the vault without being seen nor captured. They meet days and nights. They brought maps of the building. They sat with timetables and shifts of every department in the very 24/7 busy building and all information needed to open each door. At the end of the activities of the meetings and the gathering, the strategy was completed. They had solid plans on how to get into the vault without leaving any trace that would stop them. The only thing that was left was to appoint a day when they would be able to gather their brains and invade the vault. They already had prior information on when HGSD company gives a break to all its employees, including the guards, during any holiday period. This showed how confident they were in passing on their defense technology in their vaults. The best news for them was when they found out that for the year 2015, the holiday known as Bank Holiday was to fall on the Easter holiday in England. This bank holiday is celebrated once every year in many countries of the Commonwealth, where the employees of banks and other sectors rest for 2 days. In 2015, this holiday fell on Wednesday, the April 1st. So this meant that Wednesday and Thursday would be bank holidays, Friday would be Good Friday, and Saturday would continue to be a day of rest, and Sunday would be the peak of Easter itself, then Monday would be Easter Monday. All that were considered when deciding the day of theft into the vault. You will quickly realize that there were 6 days that workers would be at home, and the old people knew it. This was a good time for those old people. Oh my gosh! The day is arranged. They agreed to do their thing on April 1st, 2015. The day was not late. Finally it became Tuesday, then it became Wednesday. It was the morning of the April 1st, 2015. Those elders who are plumbers were given instructions by Mr. Bryan to go to a building neighbor to a building with a vault, pretending that they are going to fix some pipes. They managed to enter the lower part of the building with a system of domestic gas pipes, where there are pipes leading to the rooms of the building where they are supposed to break and steal. The method they used was to intentionally damage some gas pipes and cut some electric cables, and then they left, leaving the gas leaking due to the damage they caused. The old men left, but after a short time, a huge explosion of fire erupted due to gas leaks. There was a panic. The police and the fire department decided to evacuate all people who were staying in the building that was on fire, as well as the neighboring buildings, including the building with a vault which is highly protected. This was a method of cleaning on holidays all the buildings close to the building with the vault. The building with vault should not be occupied, because in the neighboring building and the building with the vault there will be only firefighters working to find the source of the fire. In the evening of that day, Mr. Bryan and a gang of fellow elders who specialized in robbery planning went to work. Remember, the map maker of this event was called Basil, although this name was given to him by the police because they do not know his face or his real name. The truth is that he apparently knew this building inside and out. At 2 o'clock in the night, Basil, wearing a nice and official dress, arrived in front of this building and opened the front door using the keys, and then went inside. Till this day, it is not known where Basil got the keys to open the building. The others were behind the building, and after he entered, he opened the back door for them, and they all entered. The work officially began. If you remember well, the building's elevator was designed in such a way that it cannot go down to the basement. It was going up and down, ending up on the ground floor, and instead of this to be an obstacle, these elders saw it as an opportunity to make their work easy. They all entered into the elevator heading to the 2nd floor. The elevator went up to the 2nd floor. When it arrived, they damaged the cables and the elevator plant, causing the lift, which was already to the 2nd floor, to remain there, unable to go down or up. The elevator was damaged. It was not working anymore. It was frozen right on the 2nd floor. They went down again to the ground floor through the stairs exactly as it was planned. When they got down to the ground floor, they opened the elevator door, and after opening the elevator door, they encountered a hole. The elevator shaft. This hole goes from top to bottom in the basement because the elevator is stuck on the 2nd floor. Their goal was to find a way down to the basement, and by getting a way through the hole, the goal was accomplished. This hole was about 2 people long, 12 feet, and Basil, the master planner, who was the youngest, had to jump and then fell to the basement. When Basil had already managed to reach the basement by jumping, 2 of his companions went back to the 1st floor. In this building, the stairs are built in such a way that if a person passes by, he appears at the very bottom of the building, but he is not in the basement because there is an elevator door that separates him from the basement. This elevator's door has a wall. For now it cannot be opened because the elevator is frozen at the top. So here you find an elevator door, which doesn't open, and another door in front of you that leads you out of the building. These old people, guided by Basil, knew that this elevator door has an inside opening. And this was made on purpose by the building owners to help clean or repair the elevator shaft. When these thieves went up to the first floor, they used the emergency fire exit, then they went down to the bottom of the building and arrived outside the basement where Basil, who is already in the basement, opened the elevator door for them. This door was opening only to go inside. And there is no elevator shaft because it is at the end of the building, but there is an opening to go up. After Basil had opened it, they all entered the basement, then they opened the glass door that I explained at the beginning, and after opening it, you are in front of the vault door itself, and once you open it, you have entered the vault room where all the property that is to be stolen is. If you remember, when you open the glass door, you only have 60 seconds to enter the secret numbers into the keypad which is on the wall to mute the intruder alert sound to signal an invasion and send a message to the police. Unfortunately, this force led by Basil did not have those secret numbers. What Basil did, he quickly opened the keypad on the wall and cut wires to destroy it. Another misfortune they encountered was that they managed to cut the cables with a delay of about 2 seconds. The truth is that the alarm did not go off, but a message was sent to the police. As soon as the message reached the police, they directly called to the HGST company responsible for security at the very place, and they sent a person to check out what was going on. When he arrived, he found all the doors well. He looked around and satisfied himself that the doors had not been broken. The only thing he failed to notice was that the thieves used another method to enter instead of breaking the doors. He had to call the police and inform them that all parts of the vault are safe and insisted that it was a false alarm. Basil and his colleagues are now in front of the vault, but they still had another big obstacle. A very big problem. It's a vault door. This door is made of iron with a thickness of almost 50 centimeters. In order to open it, you have to enter a series of secret numbers. They knew very well that they couldn't open it without drilling a hole in the wall, and that's why they came with a diamond-tip drill. The work of piercing the wall took them 3 hours. They pierced 3 overlapping circles. After breaking through the wall, they met another obstacle. Inside the vault, there was a cabinet of boxes that people used to store their belongings. The problem with this cabinet is that it was made and attached directly to the wall so that even if you push it, it could not fall down. Basil and his colleagues did not expect it, and were not prepared for it. They started arguing on how to open the cupboard. Finally they agreed to leave, go back home to think more about how to face this challenge. Remember, this was a long weekend. Almost 6 days off, so they weren't worried because the vault staff wouldn't be there until the holidays were over. They returned home to work on methods to open or dismantle the cupboard. After a long discussion they agreed that they would use a high vibration machine to push the wall without breaking. Jones was the one who was appointed to buy the machine. He bought a good machine capable of pushing something weighing 10 tons hydraulic ram, and then they returned to continue with the work. When they arrived at the scene, it took them 10 minutes to push the cupboard using a machine, and they found themselves having moved the cupboard that was blocking and hiding the wealth they needed. After dropping the cabinet, Carl Wood and Jones spread themselves through the opening they drilled and entered the vault. After logging in, they spent a whole day, Saturday, opening the safes inside the vault. In the vault they found a total of 966 boxes, of which until the second day, Sunday, they managed to open 396 boxes only and took a large amount of gold ore, diamonds and cash, all worth more than $200 million, and then left to share the wealth so that they may enjoy Easter together with their families. The deal was 100% successful as they left with the property, and all came out safe, ready to go back home rich. On Tuesday, after the workers came to work, they found out that the vault had been broken into and stolen. The police were informed and the investigation began immediately. But for 4 months of investigation, the police did not manage to decide anything about the case, and the case had to be transferred to a special unit of highly skilled people within the police force in England. The unit is called Flying Squad. The Flying Squad is now at work. Will they succeed? After 4 months of investigation, the Flying Squad used the CCTV camera images of the building opposite to the building with the stolen vault. They managed to find a picture of a car that was seen parking near the vault building on the night of the incident, and they tracked this car. They discovered that it was owned by Collins, Kenny, the Sly City man. In January 2016, Collins was arrested, and after being questioned for a week, he agreed to be involved in the incident and named the others. All his colleagues were arrested and brought to court in March 2016 and sentenced to 6 years in prison except Mr. Basil. Mastermind Basil could not be arrested, and nobody knows where he is till today because even his colleagues never knew his whereabouts and the real name. That's why the police named him Basil. His whereabouts are unknown until today, and all the stolen items worth more than $200 billion have not been found. The Flying Squad unit is still on hunt of Mr. Basil, who is nowhere to be found. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to support us.